It's almost feeding time out here in the compound. Wet, gloomy, classic Pacific Northwest winter. Just me and all my feather babies doing what we do. This is honestly where I love being the most. Out here with my flock. Sometimes getting jumped on, getting dirty, and just being. So I thought I'd bring you along today. No script, just some unscripted time here on her little farm. Let me introduce you to some of my feather babies. Welcome everyone. Welcome back to another episode of The Accidental Chicken Whisperer. I'm La, and yes, I am the Accidental Chicken Whisperer. There's a whole journey in an entirely different video that I did several months ago into my journey and how I actually became this chicken mama, as I like to call it, or now at this rendition of my life, how I became an accidental chicken whisperer. As you can see, I didn't intend to do this, but it sort of just kind of happened in midlife. Anyhow, it's been a while. By the time this video comes out, you may have already seen one of my comeback video of what I've been doing the last 3 months that I've been away. And I've said in that video, I just needed to take some time away from everything to take care of my mental health, my physical health, and everything else in between. And just to kind of regroup, figure out what I want to do with this channel and throughout that whole journey and just doing other stuff. The title, or at least the name change, just kind of stuck. I mean, why not? Everything that I've been doing since I launched this video, since I've launched this channel over a year ago, has been centered around my chickens anyway. Yes, they do bring me a lot of peace, so why not? Why not truly own the title that I have actually given myself for the longest time? And that is how, of course, I became the Accidental Chicken Whisperer. Anyhow, today is actually one of my more unscripted show. I need to get back to doing this a lot more. And where I actually like to do a little bit more unscripted stuff is here in the chicken compound. It's not a coop, it's actually a compound. Roughly about almost an acre's worth of just stuff that we've pretty much fenced in, or at least put behind gates. At least I like to believe that that will give them some kind of protection, but it's there to provide some kind of protection for all my feather babies, where they need to stay, especially during this winter season when food is scarce and we have, unfortunately, predators flying above. And so it is the one place that I have to say, of all the places that I enjoy being the most, it's out here with all of my babies jumping on me, getting me dirty. But it is what it is, right? So, oh my goodness. I haven't introduced you all to some of my latest addition to the flock. You've seen a couple of other ones. I don't know where the heck they all are. Oh, the bigger roosters are over there. Bean? Let me see if I can try to call Bean. Bean, Bean. Bean, Bean. Bean, Bean, come here. Stuart. I wanted to introduce you all to some of my newer chickens that we released, that we've hatched a year ago. And now they're joining the larger flock. Because why not? They need to learn how to run. They need to know how to forage and also explore this entire tiny little farm we have here. If I didn't mention this before, I'm actually coming live. Well, not live. What the heck am I talking about? I'm actually filming this on her little farm. Yes, this is the name of our farm. It's roughly about almost 8 acres. It's not very big. It's small, and it's just a hobby farm. We don't do anything. We don't grow anything, although I've been talking about doing it for several years now on how I could actually grow things and maybe sell. I don't know. Maybe one of these days I'll finally launch a little micro bakery up front that I can sell some baked goodies outside of my food cart that I have. But that's in a whole different other project that I will discuss. But just introduction to some of my little babies. Oh my goodness, here's Robert. He's a jungle fowl. They're a little bit wild, but for some reason, this is what happens when you work with them since they're hatchlings. They actually don't mind being handled. And some of them, no matter how much you handle them, they will never like you. In this case, Robert actually likes me. Right, Robert? How you doing? How you doing, buddy? We'll have to see. But because they're new, they are on the low end of the totem pole. I'm gonna set him down now. Oh, get down, sweetheart. So, what do I want to chit chat with you all about today? Since my entire life, there's always some kind of metaphor to chickens. And one of the questions that people oftentimes ask me in raising chickens, besides the metaphor, but in also raising all these chickens, they ask me, La, do you truly actually know every single one of your chickens? And my answer to that is, of course I do. They're my babies. If you have children, you know exactly who your children are, right? I know I do. um, Unfortunately, I can't keep all of them. My husband will probably not be too keen if I actually kept every single one of them that hatch. And if I did, we'll probably be in the hundreds, and we can't do that. So, yes, we do, like any farm, we do use it, and sometimes I do use it. I don't call them my chickens; those are my husband's chicken. The ones that I actually use and harvest, and unfortunately or fortunately, used to make chicken soup for the food cart. Yes, it's the cycle of life. I oftentimes say I've been struggling with that for quite some time, and I'm sure at some point in my life I will probably end up becoming a vegetarian. I mean, I'm already headed in that direction. Haven't completely crossed that threshold, but that I'm sure that time is going to come sooner rather than later. Just knowing how much and how attached I am to all of these feather babies, and this little girl here, she's just been completely attached to me from day one. Hi, sweetheart. Ah, that's her trying to get snack from me. It's actually almost feeding time. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but we feed them in the morning, grains and etc. But throughout the day, we do expect them to go out, learn how to forage. It's a little bit kind of noisy right now. Things are just moving so much. Seems like there's always nonstop construction here on the farm. Excuse me for being distracted. It used to be very quiet up until a couple months ago when they started doing some kind of construction not too far from here, about a mile down. So they've been diverting a lot of traffic through our farm, or at least the country road. So it'll get a little bit noisy, but I'm hoping that will end sooner rather than later. But anyhow, yes, when going back to what people say, I do actually know quite a bit of who all my chickens are. And according to my husband, I cannot keep all of them, which I'm very sad about. But yes, there's a whole bunch of upkeep and everything that we have to deal with. It's always stressful for me whenever I have to leave them to go on vacation, camp, hike, whatever. It's always hard to, to find someone to come and check on the feed and the water. Luckily, we do have a piece of our property that we do allow some of our families to just farm a little bit and maybe, have their own, raise their own chickens and like all that. And so it's as a trade-off. They do keep an eye on our flock whenever we're gone. But one way or another, at some point, as my husband have already told me, 10 years from now, he's got this 10-year plan where he's going to eventually retire, and he wants to go get a camper van, and we're just going to drive and be gone for several weeks, maybe a month. So he's already put me on notice that I need to start dwindling down my flock, because when we're gone for about a month, who is going to take care of our flock? So I don't want to think about that yet. The good thing about it is that the lifespan is perhaps not the longest. I mean, the longest living rooster I had, or chicken that I had, his name was Titan. I adopted him, and he pretty much flew over the Rainbow Bridge about 8, at the age of 8. So, but on average, all my chickens kind of live to be about maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4. But there's this little girl. Unbeknownst to my husband, I'm probably going to have to tag her and give her a name, because the minute they have a pink tag and they have a name, they're completely off limits to my husband. It's the deal we made for me being moved here to the farm. How are you? So, other tidbits. Does chicken... People oftentimes ask me, yes, I do know all my chicken. I recognize them by their tendencies, by their coloring, by certain behavior. And does chicken actually respond to me when I call their name? I like to believe so. In fact, let me show you all. Come here. Let me put this. I'm gonna call my one of my rooster. Daddy, Daddy, Thaddeus, Thaddeus, Daddy, come here. Come here, Daddy. Thaddeus. Daddy. Thaddeus is. Oh, come here. Oh, he's been on various video with me. Oh, some chickens don't mind being handled. Thaddeus, no matter how, I've handled him since he was probably a couple of days old. He will never like me touching him. He's one of the few that, even at his age, he's over a year, about a year and a half, he still does not like me touching him. Some chickens just are that way. And here's my newer, soon to be, he'll be a rooster. If you didn't know this, I like to classify them as rooster once they become a year old. Right now, he's just still a cockerel. And this right here is Arthur. I actually have another girl that he grew up with. Her name is Guinevere. She's around here somewhere. But Arthur here is actually a jungle fowl. They're a little bit wild. Theoretically, they come from that line of being super wild, thus the name jungle fowl. But maybe they're so used to being raised by humans that the wildness has kind of disappeared. I think they've gotten so, what do you call it? They're so used to dependent upon their humans that it's very hard for me to assume that they'll survive out there in the wilds. Come here, sweetheart. You can't see it, but I actually have a little girl. She likes to be tucked underneath my farm jacket. It's probably the reason why my name is called Big Mama. So let me see. Other tidbits about chicken. Yes, I personally believe that chicken actually can, and they do recognize their name when you call them. A lot of them actually do. They'll come running when I call them. They'll respond. Either that or they're probably attaching that name to a treat. Either way, it's worked, and I'm not gonna go against a tried and true method, right? Especially if these are actually all my pets. So, oh, hold on. More chickens on my way. Let's see, other tidbits about chickens. Every rooster has their own crow that I recognize from a distance. People don't realize that, but I can. I can tell who's who just by their crow. It's a lot like people's voices, you know? When they start making sound, you just know who is who. Other tidbits that I like to also impart on all of you, because I have this ulterior motives to try to make everybody become chicken people, is that a hen does not need to have a rooster around to lay an egg. Actually, I didn't know that. I thought that you needed a rooster. I learned it too. No, the rooster is only needed if you plan to actually have some eggs or fertilize some eggs. And a hen, very much so like a woman, the simplest term that I can say with eggs is that they're kind of like women, you know, that time of the month. You still ovulate regardless, right? If you're going to get pregnant or not. And that's pretty much how a hen is. But instead of the other way, they lay an egg. And if there's a rooster around, then yep, that egg will eventually become a baby chick, which then I get to keep more babies. Hold on, you guys. So, in terms of chickens, and some of them some of them have unique personality. Some of them like Thaddeus, he likes to be by himself, and he'll come to me when he wants some snacks. But the minute I touch him, it's like I'm like a black flag to him. He'll fight me all the way. And there are some that are completely, I guess you can say it, need a lot of PDA, need a lot of care, loves being in me, like this little girl right here. She just loves being wrapped up. She's still young. She's actually doesn't have too much hair, so I've been trying to make sure she doesn't freeze at night. But like her, she loves being cuddled. Some chickens just enjoys being cuddled. And there's just no getting around that. No matter how old they get, they still enjoy sitting on my lap and crawling into my jacket or whatever I'm wearing. It's that warmth, I guess. Hey, Griffin, come here. I was hoping to try to introduce a couple of more of my newer flock, but they're not here. Oh, let me introduce you to another guy right here. Come here. Oh, let me put this one away. There's one of my newer roost cockerel right there, Stuart. He was a complete little runt when he hatched, and I actually did not think that he would become that big, but that's my Stuart. He's actually from, his bloodline is actually from Southeast Asia. And next to him is not a chicken, it's a guinea fowl. Whom all my guinea fowls I like to call the Stooges because they are a bunch of, they like creating shenanigans. They're mean as heck. Great. They like to sound the alarm quite a bit whenever there's any predators above. And so I appreciate them for that. But are they noisy? Yes. Goodness. I can't stand them sometimes. They'll jump the fence and they'll come all the way to the house and start screaming as if, I don't know, screaming bloody murder or something. Now I've kind of just pretty much tuned them out. But, you know, they're kind of noisy. So if you hear all the noise, it's usually probably from them. So, sorry, they're looking at me. It's almost kind of like they're eyeballing me. I think that I've oftentimes said that if I actually pass out right now in the chicken compound, they probably won't hesitate to eat me. I mean, seriously. Everything and anything, they consider it food. Right now, their big mama, the human who feeds them. So I think maybe that's the reason why they'll respect me just a little bit while I'm alive. But other than that, like I said in my comeback video, things have been kind of busy in my world, and I'm kind of grateful, glad that the new year has started. I'm actually looking forward to bringing you guys along, coming back on a little bit more frequently here on her little farm and welcoming you into my little world. I'll do the best that I can. It doesn't happen all the time. I mean, I sometimes I don't feel like being on the camera. Uh, if I have something to do, then at least I can make myself look slightly more presentable. But most of the time, it's a lot of work just trying to get on camera. At least for me personally, I admire those who can just open up their camera and just chit chat. But yeah, I mean, I don't, I just wanted to introduce a couple more members of my flock with all of you. Let me put this little girl down here. I swear, every single time I come and sit out here, she will just crawl into my arm, my shoulder. I mean, I swear to God, she will crawl into my jacket. I mean, I don't know. Obviously it's a I like to call it a reflex. She did that quite a bit with her mama, but at some point we have to remove mama away from them because, like, as you all know, chickens, they kick their babies out of the nest, which isn't always the greatest thing in the world. But so then guess who ends up becoming their surrogate mom? Me. But let me show you all. Oop, here, let me put her down. Oh my goodness, sweetheart, come here, come here, come here. You can't always be around me. So another member of our flock here, as I tried showing him earlier, that's Thaddeus. He is a little bit of like a shadow to me. Follow me wherever I go. Thaddy, how are you? He's been sick, so I've been giving him some certain meds, keeping him healthy as best as he can here on the farm. I'm going to introduce you all to my flock. And there's my Fluff. His name is Fluff. Yes, that's his name. He's a silky. He does not like me at all. That's all I can say. He's never warmed up to me no matter how hard I've tried. And I did mention this earlier, but these are all my guineas. They are a wonderful alarm system, noisy as heck. I sometimes can't stand them, but I do Some of them I will give them specific names, and most of them are, I don't know, unfortunately, they were taken. They're just now missing. I think predators, hawk. We have eagles flying above too. But I just basically call all of them the Stooges because they are that mean and they are hilarious at times. This is Bean. He actually walks with the cricket leg. I didn't realize he must have had some kind of injury. I don't know if his mother accidentally kicked him or he, had it lodged somewhere. But by the time I got to him, it was pretty bad, and I had to help nurse him back. And because he was the runt, as usual, and also because of his injury, he couldn't eat. And he wasn't grown as fast as the rest of his sibling. I felt horrible not being able to spot it quicker. So I pretty much isolated him from the rest of the flock, or at least we released him. And I isolated him and fed him individually. It took a while, but now I have to admit that Bean is actually overweight. Can I just say that? He is. He is overweight. And oh, there you go. The shenanigan. That's Griffin. Yeah. So anyway, Bean will come when I call him, and he knows he's spoiled. He always gets all the treats whenever I call him. Bean, 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 come here. So those are just some of the updates from the farm that I wanted to tell you all about. Introduce you to a couple members of the flock. There's a lot more. My husband, of course, like I said, there's a lot more that I am keeping against my husband's protest. But what can he say? He knows that they bring me a lot of joy, and I'm super happy to have them in my life. So take care. Thank you so much for coming along with me and meeting some of the newer members of my flock and hearing me ramble out here. Hopefully, some of the little tidbits that I share about chickens may inspire you to become chicken parents too. Until the next episode, have a great one. Bye.